morning Year 4, it's Wednesday the 10th of February and this is a maths lesson for my maths group. Today we're going to be comparing and ordering angles, but before we start that we're just going to look at the question I asked you at the end of last lesson, which was a little challenge question for some of you to try. Order these angles from smallest to largest, labelling them from numbers 1 to 4. So you had to think about how big they were and maybe use an angle measurer or just be thinking about them. You could even cut them out and have a look and see which ones are big, which ones are small. But we can see from that this is the smallest, the tightest angle, and this number 4 here is the widest angle, and then in the middle there we've got that right angle. Now number 2 was thinking more about what we're going to be doing today, just to see if you could remember those symbols really from year 3. And I know that you've done them before. Those symbols meaning greater than, less than. So you had to look at angle A and C to start with and work out which was bigger. Remember, the wider side of this symbol points to the biggest number or the biggest angle. So A is definitely, you can see A there is definitely bigger than C. And A is also bigger than B. Yeah, so we have the A, the wider side pointing to A. And again, A is also bigger than angle D. So that was really just trying to see if you knew or remembered anything from year 3, with us moving to working on that today. Okay, so we're going to compare and order angles. This is our in focus task. It says compare the sizes of the 4 angles in figure A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. You can see we've got a quadrilateral and we have to compare. If we're comparing, what sort of questions might we ask? We might be saying, is it more than a right angle? Is it less than a right angle? How do we know? Can we check? And can we use greater than or less than? Okay, so these are the questions that we need to be thinking about as we move through the Let's Learn about how to do this little problem. Okay, if you want to pause the video now, you could have a little think about what you think, how you would order these or how you could compare them before we move on. So the vocabulary that we're going to come across today, we're going to be thinking, of course, about angles. We've got this greater than, more than, which is a bigger thing, isn't it? We've got less than, which is smaller, small. We've got right angle, which we've come across before, which is that special corner that makes an L. You put a little square into the corner as well. And we're talking about the largest and the smallest and putting them sometimes with the largest first or the smallest first. So some key vocabulary for us this morning. Okay, so let's learn. Which angle is the smallest? Okay, so the little girl is saying angle A is less than a right angle. So she's thinking, she knows that a right angle is going to make that L shape, and she knows that that is smaller than a right angle. Okay, so already she is thinking that looks like it's the smallest one, isn't it? She's already trying to use that knowledge of the right angle to help her work that out. Which angle is the largest? Well, little boy's thinking, well, he knows that B looks bigger than a right angle. Maybe the other ones don't look as wide as that. So he's already using again his knowledge of that right angle, which really is helpful when you're looking at angles, you know, saying to himself it looks bigger than that. So if you know what a right angle looks like, you can then use that knowledge and skill to compare other angles. Which angle is smaller, angle C or angle D? So we're looking at this angle and this angle. So what the little girl has done here, she has looked at C and she's put that little L shape in there, and she can see that it's a right angle. Okay, and she says angle C is a right angle, and she knows that because that fits in, and you could use your angle measurer today for your tasks if you needed to. But what the little boy's done, he's got that little square and tried to put it into this angle here, D, and can you see there's this gap? It doesn't fit in the turn between those two lines, where those two lines meet, is wider than a right angle, bigger than a right angle. So angle D is more than a right angle. Okay. Guided practice then. Which angle is larger? So let's look at this one. We've just got a straight line there, and then we've got this intercepting line that is making angle E and angle F. So if you were to get your right angle, you'd be thinking, well, where's the right angle? Well, I can see there's the right angle going up there, but angle F does look smaller than a right angle, but angle E looks quite large, yeah? And so I know that angle E is larger there. Okay. What about G and H? Right. G, we've got this turn from there to there. Looks quite small. H looks like it might be a right angle or nearly a right angle, but it's not marked as a right angle. So if it's not marked as a right angle, is it above a right angle? Well, it's definitely bigger than this one. So the larger one there would be H, yeah, the larger angle would be H, yeah. You can see that that one there is quite small. This one's a trickier one. Which one is the larger angle? So you've really got to, sometimes you have to turn these things round. So it's if you've got angles at the top, sometimes it's harder to see. I wonder if I can just show you. If you turn it round, like so, yeah, you can now see that J one is quite a wide corner, and this one's quite a tight corner. So I know, if I turn it back for you, the larger angle there is J. So sometimes, children, you might have to turn it upside down, and I think that's quite a good little strategy, so that you don't have to look at the angle from the top. I think that's quite hard sometimes. Okay. Arrange the angles from smallest to largest. So again, you could use your right angle measurer. You could be thinking, oh, which one? Well, I know, looking at this first one, the largest must be this one here, yeah? And then these two look quite similar, but you've really got to think, ooh, which one is it? Is that one smaller? That one's making a smaller space between there. So I would put them in smallest first, which would be K, then N, then M, and I might list them like so. This shape here, a little bit harder to think about, smallest to largest. Having a look at these angles, I can see this one's quite small. This one's got a wide turn here. And these two, I might have to get my angle measurer to work out whether or not it's a right angle or bigger than a right angle, just to get them in the right order. Smallest would be R, S is next, then P, and Q, of course, is the largest angle there. Okay. One of the things you might be asked to do today is to use the greater than or less than, and that was something that you did in the last task. And just to remind you, I like this crocodile picture here that you might have come across in year 3 and also in year 2, that the wide open mouth of the crocodile is always pointing towards the larger number or the larger angle. Okay, so here we've got 4 is greater than 3. 3's got the closed mouth, 4's got the open mouth. Just as a little reminder there, children, because you will be asked to do that today. And here's an example. We can say E, there's E, is greater than F. We can write it like that. Okay, E is greater than F. Okay. So your task looks a bit like this, looking at small, which angle is smaller. You might need to use your angle measurer. Okay. And then the second part of your task is thinking about using the greater than and less than signs as well, and ordering angles. Okay. You can upload it to Teams, photograph it, put it in a document. You can email me, And just another reminder about our Zoom meeting on 10:30 on Thursday as a catch-up. I've asked all pupils to bring a little funny joke with them this week so we can share and just have a little bit of fun together. Ask your parents where that email is. It may have gone into your junk mail by accident because it's got Zoom attached to it, and sometimes they go into junk mail. I look forward to seeing your work on Teams, children, or on email. Remember, you are comparing and ordering angles. Good luck with that. Goodbye.